You gotta watch this. There's bloopers and cue the music. Boy, did I dodge a bullet taking apart this thing. Hey guys, Richard Holdner here, and welcome to the channel. Right behind me, Dodge 2.2 liter turbo motor that we pulled from the wrecking yard from the engine bay of a 600. And I know you're thinking, Richard, are you planning to take that thing apart? Yes, I am. And I know your second question is, but wait, I saw you guys. You have a started up video already up. You already ran this thing. Thanks to our fancy crank sensor from an LS on our distributor, we were able to run this thing and start it up, thanks to Ish, with a Holley HP management system. And yes, you saw that. It started up. It had oil pressure. It actually runs. Richard, why would you want to take it apart? Well, there are a number of things that I want to check. We have a lot of testing planned for this thing, and I want to make sure it's up to snuff. So I'm going to take a look at the bearings, head gasket, oil pump, camshaft, you know, all of this stuff. And if nothing else, while we have it apart, it gives me a good opportunity to change the ring gap, add some head studs, and a new head gasket. Let's get going. So we'll start off by pulling the throttle body and elbow. Lucky for us, fairly easy. A couple of bolts holding this thing in. Just a bracket. Ta-da! Now we can get the turbo and exhaust manifold out of the way. So we've got the valve cover off. Take a look at the cam. Seems like it's actually in pretty good shape. Rockers and springs look good. Oil actually looks fairly clean because we put new oil in it before we did the startup. We're going to go ahead and pull off the pulley here. Before we pull the pulley off, we had already marked TDC previously when we were doing our setup to get this thing started. So we know where that is, and I'll show you the rest of the marks to determine how the cam and the crank and everything are lined up. So this will be important when we're putting this back together. Right now the motor is at TDC. You can see the position. See this mark here lines up with this mark. That's to drive the oil pump and the distributor. Up here, see a little arrow. See that level lines up with that. Back behind the cam gear. And then we use this. I'm going to go ahead and loosen that up. You can see that's got an eccentric on it. That's basically just putting tension on the belt. So we'll take that off, take the belt off, then we can start working on the cylinder head. So here's something I found that definitely would have caused a problem. Check this out. So after pulling our belt off, valve cover and stuff, we were checking the cam. But you notice this. So right off the bat, we got silicone on there, which is probably not good. That's telling me at the very least maybe this thing was leaking, water was coming up or something. But here's the important thing. That head bolt, yeah. That's finger tight. All the other ones seem to be tight. At least more than finger tight. But this one, yeah, we've got an issue here. So we're going to take this one out and take a look and see what's going on. Well, there's your problem. Yeah, that's not good. So we'll obviously have to replace that. I like the use of silicone here to cure the broken bolt problem. I don't think that works. Nice. So after finding a broken head bolt, obviously we've got to take the head off. We're probably going to have to extract the bolt, but I also want to take a look at the bottom end now. And while I'm here, at least get the rings gapped, and then I can show you maybe later on another video of putting it all back together, hopefully with head studs and good head gaskets and anything else that we got to fix, obviously that head bolt. All right, time to pull that cylinder head. All right, time to pull the head. Time to pull the head. Time to pull the head. All right, time to pull that head. Let's go. Time to take that head off. Let's go. Yeah, come on. See if I can sneak it out around some of this stuff. Oh, yeah, like a glove. Okay, first off, yes, we do have a broken bolt. Oh, and look at that. Oh, this is great. So awesomeness. And it just threads right out. Winning! Yeah. So new bolts, actually ARP studs probably. You can see a little break in the gasket there. Don't know if that would have caused a problem. Everything else. Pistons. Okay, let's take a look here. A couple of valves are open. This intake valve is open. This exhaust cam doing what it's supposed to. That's some evidence maybe of some, I thought maybe that was detonation. Got some speckles on here. If I take the valves out, I'll take a look and see if they've got any buildup between the valve and the seat. If it looks okay, I think this will give me an opportunity to maybe do a surface on it, and that way I can get the surface finish to work with an MLS head gasket. Yeah, I'll do a valve job on it, make sure everything's working the way that it should. But it's not terrible, it's not broken. You know, it wasn't detonated to death. Everything here is looking okay. Even though I know it would probably run, here's another reason I like taking them apart sometimes. See the buildup, the cooling passages. I like just, you know, making sure that the passages all flow the way that they're supposed to. So get rid of all that buildup. Something I can do at the machine shop. I think I'll probably take this thing down and have them surface the deck on this thing too. Make sure that that's straight, you know, get all that stuff cleaned out. That will be starting with like a fresh new one. And by new, I mean we're going to put these pistons on the stock rings right back in it. But I don't know, maybe a ball hone or something? I don't know. We'll have to take a look and see how that looks. Let's get this thing apart. Ta-da! I think it looks pretty nice. Not a lot of wear. It's a little dirty, but we can clean that up. Now we're going to put the stock ring in. This is the second ring, number 1 cylinder. Find out what the stock ring gap is. Kind of square it down in the hole there. Yeah, it's a pretty tight factory ring gap. So we'll check the gap. Right at 15 thousandths on the second ring. So the top ring has a lot more gap. It's got more than 26 thousandths. So the top ring actually is already good for high boost stuff. All we need to do is adjust the second ring, put a little more gap in that one, we should be good. So we've got our second ring set up in our ring grinding machine. Thank you guys to the Total Seal guys. This thing's pretty cool. So we've got it set up, and what you want to do is have that cutting surface flat and flush with the cutter there. Then when we know we're at 0, we're going to zero our gauge out, adjust that. So we're at 0, lock that in place, switch it on. Now all we have to do is start cutting this. This will tell you how much we're cutting off. By rotating this knob, basically we're spinning that in to the grinder. So we should have changed it now by 10 thousandths. Let's go measure it and find out. So now it's time to find out how accurate that was. We've got our ring set in. Got 26 thousandths on the gauge. Our little feeler gauge. Put that in. Drags just a little bit, so this thing is probably right between, it'll just go in, so right between 25 and 26 thousandths. So looks like our ring cutting machine from the guys at Total Seal worked pretty good. Now number 1's ready. We just got to get 2, 3, and 4 rings or gap. We're going to surface this thing, get it down to the machine shop, do a little bit of work on it. Can't wait to get this thing up on the dyno. Then we're going to take this over to John Mahovitz, have him make that pattern work with this pattern on here on the dyno. Just do a little adapter and we can get this motor up on the dyno. Okay guys, it looks like I dodged a bullet. Taking apart the 2.2 liter Chrysler motor, definitely a good idea. We did find some things wrong with it. Obviously, it's gonna need bearings. Those bearings are kind of shot. I definitely need to replace those. We'll polish the crank. I'm gonna surface the head, surface the block. We might do a ball hone on it. I've done the ring gap, obviously. After we surface the head, we're also going to do a valve job. So when this thing goes back together, it should be in good shape. But I know because it's an 84, guys are still concerned about the power potential of that early motor. It has the 6-bolt non-forged crank in it. I think it might even have weak rods in it, but I like that. I actually like starting out with the weakest combination and showing people what it can do when you do it right. I'm Richard Holder. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, ring the bell. I'm going to put that thing back together, do another video, hopefully get it up on the dyno after Mahovitz does the plate. Thanks for watching, guys.